right, subt. Students will be able to subtract mixed numbers.
How can you subtract mixed numbers? Think about this question during the lesson. A golf ball measures about 1 2/3 inches in diameter. What is the difference between the diameter of the hole and the golf ball? Let's find out. What is the diameter of a circular object?
What is that when we're talking about diameter of a circular object? What are we really talking about? We talked about this in science a few days ago. If you're in my class, we talked about how to find diameter. Do you know, Austin?
The area.
It's not the area. That is a math word, though. Grace? Not perimeter. No. Dylan?
The distance.
The distance where?
Around ball.
Not around it. The distance across the middle. If you were to pick out a middle point on a circle and then measure through that middle point from side to side, that would get you your diameter. See how they're showing it on here? The distance from one side of the circle to the other. That's where we're getting our diameter from.
It is the distance across the object from one side to its opposite side through the center of the object. What operation should you use to find the difference between the diameters of the hole and the golf ball?
So to find a difference, what operation will we use? Aaliyah? Chromebooks should be down, please. Aaliyah, what are we going to use to find the difference? We're going to subtract, yeah.
You subtract to find the difference in diameters.
I want you to notice, they didn't say 1 2/3 minus 4 1/4. Why is that? Tyler? I'm sorry. Daniel? Right, how do we know that 4 1/4 is the bigger number, Daniel? Right, you have to start with the bigger number, and since our whole number here is 4 and our whole number here is 1, we have to start with 4 1/4 and subtract 1 2/3 from it.
What information from the picture is needed to solve the problem?
Gabe, what do we need here? Do we need the diameter of the hole? Yes. Do we need the diameter of the golf ball? Yes, we do. We need both.
You need to know that the diameter of the hole is 4 1/4 inches. What is the diameter of the ball?
Everybody?
1 2/3.
The diameter of the ball is 1 2/3 inches. To find the difference in the diameters, subtract. How do you subtract fractions with unlike denominators?
Well, it's going to be very similar to how we added fractions with unlike denominators. Paige, what do you think we're going to do first? If the denominators are unlike. We want to find, good, I like the word you used. We want to find their least common multiple of the 4 and the 3 of the denominators.
To subtract fractions with unlike denominators, change the fractions to equivalent fractions with the least common denominator.
Okay, so if you have a piece of paper out, you can go ahead and write it out like this. 4 1/4 minus 1 2/3 is equal to 4 and what over what minus 1 and what over what.
What is the least common denominator of 1/4 and 2/3?
Claire? 12 is the least common denominator, so 12 will become our denominator for both fractions.
12 is the least common denominator for 1/4 and 2/3. How do you write the equivalent fractions with a denominator of 12?
Okay, so remember, same step. Still, we haven't done one thing different yet from how we add. Everything's been the same so far. How do we find them, Ethan?
You subtract the numerator.
Well, not yet. Well, first of all, we have to find our numerators, right? What do we do?
You subtract them.
No, we're not ready to subtract just yet. We do have to get our numerators first. And to get our numerators, remember what we do?
Yes.
Claire, Cronin, what do we do?
Times the 1 times 3.
Well, how many, we ask ourselves, 3 times what number makes 12? 4. So we multiply 2 by 4. So it'll be a 4 up here on this in this bottom blank. And then 4 times 3 makes 12. So 1 times 3 is 3. So, oh, look at this. We're going to have a 3 up here and a 4 down here. Oh, boy.
Multiply the numerator and denominator by the same number.
Not a 4 down. I'm sorry. We're going to have an 8 down here. My bad.
Is it possible to subtract two numbers with like denominators if the numerator of the first fraction is less than the numerator of the second fraction?
Look here. Here's where the difference comes in. Here's where it changes a little bit from yesterday. Yesterday, if this was adding, we just go ahead and add them up and put our answer. But look here. This 3 in the numerator spot is less than 8. We can't say 3 minus 8. Can we? No. That rule still applies even with fractions. So let's see how they propose we fix this. Watch.
Yes, because you can rename 4 and 3/12 to show more 12ths. How do you rename 4 and 3/12 to show more 12ths?
Just watch.
You regroup from the whole number. When you use 1 from the whole number to make more 12ths, how do you write 1 as 12ths?
Make sure you understand what I'm saying. Okay. This is where it's different. This is where it can get confusing. Girl, stop playing with your hair. And show me that you're learning and paying attention. So we took our whole number 4. 4 is the same as 3 plus 1, right? So we're going to take 1 away from the 4. It becomes a 3. And so now we have 3 plus 1 plus 3/12. What was the question here? Let me go back to the question. When you use 1 from the whole number to make more 12ths, how do you write 1 as 12ths? Let's see what they say here.
You write 1 as 12 12ths. Now, 4 and 3/12 is renamed to what mixed number?
So now instead of 4 and 3/12, we have an equivalent fraction of 3 and 12/12. Do you see what we're getting ready to do here? Now we're going to add these two fractions to get a new fraction. Don't let this blow your mind. So we took 1 from the 4. When we took that 1 away from the 4, we're just regrouping it as 12/12. Because 12/12 is the same as 1 whole. So that 1 whole, instead of 3 plus 1, we just renamed it as 12/12 because we're dealing with 12ths here.
But now your numerator is the same as your denominator.
So now I'm going to take this 12 and add it to the 3. So whatever's on the bottom, you take 1 away, and then what you're doing really is adding that many to your numerator to get a higher numerator. It's the same fraction, it's a different way of showing it.
4 and 3/12 is the same as 3 and 15/12. When you rename, does the value of the mixed number change?
Have we changed the value at all? No, we're still talking about equivalent fractions. So 4 and 3/12 is the same as 3 and 15/12. We can prove that by changing this mix. We could say 15 divided by 12 as a proper fraction would give you 1 3/12, which is the same as adding it to the 3 that's here to make 4 3/12. You guys just look at me like, oh my goodness. Why did you do this to me? Alright, let's keep going.
No, the whole number is reduced by 1 and the fraction is increased by 1. How do you subtract the fractions? Subtract only the numerators and write the difference above the least common denominator. What is the next step for subtracting mixed numbers?
Okay, so we did this. 15 minus 8 is 7, so you have 7/12. What do we have left to do?
Nothing.
One more thing. What is it, Haley?
Subtract
The whole number is 3 minus 1 now.
Subtract the whole numbers. Simplify if necessary. The difference in the diameters is 2 7/12 inches. Looking back, why did you not subtract the whole numbers first?
Austin?
Because you wouldn't know if your numerator is bigger.
Yeah, you might need to regroup and borrow from that whole number. So you always start with the fractions and then do the whole numbers last.
You don't subtract the whole numbers first because you must start by subtracting the lesser amounts in case you have to regroup. Now that you know the answer, how can you check that the answer is reasonable?
What's the opposite of subtracting?
Adding.
You can check that the answer is reasonable by rounding the mixed numbers and subtracting.
Not what I would have said, but okay. Rounding and subtracting. We're not going to go there. We're just trying to get the basic idea of what to do when you need to regroup.
Through this problem, you have learned how to subtract mixed numbers.
Now we will get a little practice in.